FBI agents call this the largest college admissions scandal ever prosecuted. We're talking celebrities, business leaders, some of the wealthiest people in the country all caught up in this, and it's based right here in Southern California.
Criminal defense attorney R.J. Manuelian joins us now to break it all down. Thanks for joining us, first of all.
Thank you for having me on.
And before we get into the charges, the one question everybody has when they see these celebrities and the charges, is it possible these guys could do time?
Of course. When you look at just the racketeering charge, there's what's called federal sentencing guidelines. And just looking at the sentencing guidelines, that puts them at a level 20 at least, which is 30 to 37 months of prison, which is equivalent to 3 years. And that's not including the other charges. And there are enhancements. Anytime you commit an egregious crime like steal a lot of money, they could actually tack on more prison time. So certainly a lot of these people could be looking at prison.
We heard here this morning that some of the children knew what was going on, some of the children didn't know what was going on. What responsibility do they bear, and do they face criminal charges?
Well, they do. They could. And I think what the prosecution's going to do is they're going to use that as their ace in the hand to say, if you're going to push this to trial, we could go after your kids. Perfectly legal, done all the time. So the prosecutor's going to use that as an ace in the hole. And the question's going to become, did they know about it or have reason to know about it? There's a recording with one of the children listening on what was supposed to be done to fake these documents to submit. So there are some clear-cut cases and not so clear-cut cases.
And chances are, if they're getting ready to go to college, they're right at that magic age, 18, so they're not necessarily minors. Let's break down the charges here. Basically, you're talking about two different cases here. One involves bribery.
Money laundering.
And money laundering.
Tax fraud. Remember, they opened up a fictitious 501c, which is a nonprofit, and they used that. Not only did they use the money to pay people off, but they used that money to use that as a reimbursement to get back donations. So they're bribing and they're getting back the bribes. So it's a double-edged sword when it comes to the law. You're breaking the law twice. So you got money laundering, you got racketeering, you got tax fraud, you got mail fraud.
We talked about what could possibly or not happen criminally with these children. What about the colleges? I mean, if they've already gained admission, could they be kicked out? Or if they're on the brink of gaining admission, could they be reneged?
Well, the Department of Justice was very clear. They're going to leave that up to the schools to decide what they're going to do. But here's a good question. The question is, if the student is in there and didn't know and is getting the grades to be in that school, what does the college do at that point? Why is it the fault of the child? Isn't the child a victim in that case, in that particular circumstance, if they didn't know?
The other big question is, how do they keep this a secret?
Well, that's the big thing. I think this is the tip of the iceberg. I think there's been a culture of this going on for years. We've all heard about it. How did that person get in there? We've heard about Jared Kushner's parents donating $2.5 million to Harvard University, and then poof, he goes to Harvard University. So this has been going on a long time. I think this is the first time that you're starting to see the cracks, and I think you're going to see a cultural change in our education system.
But contributing to an endowment fund, for example, is legal.
Yeah, it's not.
It is, as long as you're not doing it for fraudulent purposes. They were committing fraudulent acts. They were doctoring their pictures. They were saying they were athletes when they weren't. They were hiring people to take tests. They were hiring people to delay the tests. It's all a part of the racketeering and this enterprise of fraud, and that's why they're being charged.
This is certainly next level for sure. RJ,
yes, sir.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me on.
Wow.